Richard, Dr. K Mulla, you're welcome to Bakhita Radio Wake Up Juba this morning.
Thank you very much.
It is an honor to have you this morning.
Thank you.
Yes, I would just like to go right away to what we are going to look on today, Honorable Dr. Richard K Mulla. Since your appointment as the minister of this ministry, and then also last year until now, how far have you gone with the preparations towards this?
Yeah, we started our work since May 2016, and we are doing very well. We have been researching, we have been consulting, and we have been holding a lot of meetings. We've been traveling to neighboring countries, looking at their experiences. We have been preparing our documents. So far, we are through with the first phase. We have now produced the vision for the ministry, the mission, and the mandate for the ministry. We have also described the functions and set out the organogram, the number of directorates for the ministry, and we will, after this, embark on the strategic plan for the ministry, which may take us another 4 months or so. By then, we will have finished our groundwork, and then the ministry will start operating. We are doing very well compared to other countries that started implementing devolution. For example, Kenya started implementing devolution in 2010. They were not ready to do anything until 2013, when they finished with their preparatory work, as we are doing now. And it was 2013 that they started really implementing the devolution program. For us, we are doing pretty well. I think we will be able to finish in the next 6 months or 1 year, and we will be ready to put the country into a full-fledged federal system of governance.
Yes. Before you could go also, telling us some of the things, you said that you are done with the first page of what your ministry is supposed to be doing, and people will be really very interested in knowing this first page. What is it exactly?
Well, we have been conducting workshops, and especially inviting stakeholders, academics, experienced administrators, international experts, and partners, and so forth. We've had a number of workshops and conferences within the ministry. We've been teaching our staff within the ministry. We also, as I said, paid visits. We went to Ethiopia and learned from the Ethiopian experience in establishing a federal system of governance. We also went to Kenya and witnessed the fourth annual devolution conference, and we learned a lot from the Kenyan how they established their federal or devolution system of governance. So these are the kinds of things we are doing, mainly to do with the research, consultation, meetings, conferences, visits. These are specifically the things we've been doing.
Yes, لكل مستمع بتاعنا القسمة باكيتا راديو في صباح التعليلة في صباح بتاعت إستار ألو إستاماندي تكون جي أسمى برامج بتاعت ويك أب جوبا في صباح التعليلة ديف بتاعي في استوديو أو وزير بتاعت فيدرال أفيرز ألو دكتور ريتشارد كي مولا وانا جيت ناقش إنه الشوكولات بتاعه لأنه الوزارة بتاعه ده من ضمن وزارات العمل انكلوشن بتاعه في بيس أجريمنت إنه بعدين بعد ما بيس أجريمنت ده جنوب السودان بيكون عنده بلد بيكون متحكم ديمقراطيكالي وبرضه الناس بتشوز الكلام بيقولوا فيدرال سيستم والناس قاعدين يقولوا انه ده حاجه كان شعب بتاع الجنوب ده من زمان بتاع انجليز سو لو بعدين انا بسيب لك فرصه سن برضه كيف انت بدوق تليفون انت بكون لو عندك اي سؤال انت ممكن بقدر اساله دكتور ريتشارد كي مولا وزير بتاع فيدرال افيرز في تيغونو now Honorable Dr. Richard K. Mulla, we also want to know something from you. Recently, we are getting over the social media that this process might be done maybe after the duration of the transitional agreement on the resolution of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. Is this really true?
Well, the agreement says that this ministry is charged specifically with initiating the establishment of the system of federal government. Right now, we are not yet federal. We are still decentralized. But during the transitional period, this ministry is expected to prepare the country to be ready for a federal system of government. And this will come in precisely when the permanent constitution of the country is drafted. And it is within that constitution that ministry is to ensure that provisions for the inclusion of federalism in the Republic of South Sudan is there. Definitely will become fully federal under the new constitution, not this one.
So it means it might be after the term limit of the agreement on the resolution of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan, isn't it?
It should come with the passage of the new constitution. The new constitution that will come into being will bring about the federal system of government. And it is expected that, according to the agreement, this constitution should be over within 18 months of the transitional period. But unfortunately, this process has not yet started. The drafting of the constitution has not started because even the old Constitutional Review Commission that was in existence has not yet been restructured. It has to be restructured, reappointed, taking into consideration that all the political views, groups are included in the new commission, as well as the views of those proposing the federal system of government. And this is where the ministry will feature prominently in the deliberations of the new constitution.
Yes, you talk about doing some consultations in terms of workshops, training outside the country. What about at the national level here? Is there anything that you have been doing to consult with the grassroots, the people, the intellectuals of South Sudan concerning these activities of the federal system that might happen?
Yes, our plans are that we are going to involve them soon. Right now, what we have done is much more limited because it's much more technical. But we are going to expand the consultation to grassroots, to other institutions of governance, the civil society, the churches, and all the groups involved, the women, the youth, and so forth. Fortunately, with the coming in of the national dialogue, we will seize the opportunity to make further consultations as to the type of federal system of governance that this country will want to have.
I just want to bring something also into when you first came. When you came first to this office, South Sudan was having 28 states. Now it has 32 states. Will this not contradict the work that your ministry is going to do? No, it doesn't at all. How? We are not dealing with the creation of states or counties. What we are dealing with, we are looking at the structure of governance. What should be the structure of governance at the national level, at the state level, at the county level, and how do we interrelate the relationships of these governments vertically and horizontally? What kind of powers should they enjoy? What kind of finances should they have? These kind of things, that structures and so forth. We are not necessarily charged with the number of states or counties. That can be handled by Boundaries Commission or some other commission. As of now, it is being handled through consultation by the presidency. So it really doesn't affect our work at all. We can work with any number of states possible. Yes, as I've stated that you're almost, it's like going to 2 years now in office. We want to know something also concerning the challenges that your ministry is facing. Last time when you had an interview with Tony, you said you do not even have an office. Now, do you have office? You have everything in place to run the ministry?
We're still facing the same challenges up to now. Still, we don't have office, we don't have vehicles. We have employed a number of staff. We don't have funding at all completely. We have not had any funding. We are being supported by partners and not by the government as such. We are still facing problems of funding and probably problems of lack of commitment.
Commitment from where?
I believe commitment from the government itself, because it's not releasing the necessary funds.
So you are saying there is lack of commitment from the ministry, from the government itself in terms of releasing of the funds.
Yeah.
Now the government is also decrying about the funds, because they do say that, okay, the international community or the partners with the agreement who says the warring party should sign the agreement, they are not funding the government. So it's like kind of challenge also coming to your ministry. So how are you dealing with this exactly?
Well, we are asking the government to tell the international community that our ministry should be given priority when it comes to funding, and if they do that, then they will have exercised their commitment.
But you yourself, you are part of the TIGON, which is a government by itself.
Yes, I'm doing my part, but we also need to do it collectively.
So in short, you want to say there is no support like from the Minister of Finance to support your ministry exactly?
That is it, exactly.
Now, we as also office, because I believe it is from this office is held is a part of the portion from the IO. How do you look at the implementation of the peace agreement in regard now we are almost going to 2 years?
Well, the peace agreement has its challenges, of course. It started with the disagreements in the leadership that has been resolved. Now the problem is, I think, funding. The real problem is funding, and also the fact that the cantonment areas have not materialized due to funding as well. Makes the implementation a bit difficult. If cantonments were to succeed, then perhaps every other thing could move faster.
All right, dear listeners, if you have been following us and you want to ask question to my guest in the studio, our studio line is 0955022550, and you'll be live on Wake Up Juba. And if you are just tuning in, remember we are discussing about how far has the Ministry of Federal Affairs gone with its mandate to establish what is called the democratic system of government. That is one of the outcomes that is expected from the agreement and the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. And my guest in the studio is Dr. Richard K Mulla. He is the Minister of Federal Affairs. Remember, up to now he's saying that the ministry is still facing challenges in regards to the work that the ministry is supposed to be doing. So for now, where are you, the ministry is operating from?
We are operating from the local government board. They have given us about 3 rooms for our operations, and that's all we can do.
As if this continues where there is no funding for this ministry, now how will you at the end of the day achieve what has been put in this part of the agreement, the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan? Will this really be achieved if there is challenges your ministry is facing?
I think when we finish with a strategic plan, we will be able to raise funds, not necessarily from the government but from the partners. And as of now, actually, the UNDP has already advertised for an international consultant to help us with preparing our strategic plan. And as I said before, this plan might be ready in the next 4 months or so. When that plan is ready, I believe partners will come from anywhere to support our program, and we will be able to implement a fully fledged federal system of government. I have no doubt that we will be able to do what we are charged with.
Yes, you do say that there is no funding or support coming from the Ministry of Finance in the Tigono. Now, we want to know where is your, currently, because you said they have been doing consultation outside the country, where is these funds coming from?
Well, we got some little funds from the government itself, but we also got some funding from UNDP.
Now we have somebody in line. Let's also listen from he or she what he is going to say. Lekolo musteme bitana later geni tabina min zaman tagibelu utenda ka soal tederasa duges bitai fi studio ragam bitana 095502255 sabah alkhair Bakhita Radio.
صباح النور.
نعم مرحبا منو؟
معكم أبو جاس.
أبو جاس مرحب.
عندي أسئلة كده اثنين أسئلة لضيف بتاع في الاستوديو اللي هو دكتور كي مولا.
نعم.
ففي زمان كان الناس ما قال مكتب بتاع فدرال أسيسو. يعني حتى الآن زو كل سده لما أنت أكسي زي كلاس جرام تحت. حال أجيس من بتوع شنو على بقول لسات السودان قال مين يصير بتوع أكيد حاجة ABC كده. أو بيكون براد أهلنا كلنا بيكون براد أكيد من بتاع مين يصير بتوع فدرال أشياء زي. ما مين يصير برا بعد مين يصير كل حتى الآن ما فاجئ كده تانجي بالعمر نعمله لنا. فالسؤال بتاع لوكال أتي. دون difference between كوكورا and federalism. عشان الناس كتير حتى في الحكومة بيقول كوكورا federalism الجنوبي إيكواتوريان كتير يدري ده كوكورا غير جيش الناس. روح كده ورينا difference between كوكورا and federalism. number 2 الناس بتقول حصل في الحكومة ده ما بيقول creation of 28 states will now 32 states they are devolution as a word decentralization. Is decentralization the same as federalism as he is there the main federal affairs ministry? أسئلتين على عندي كده.
آخر سؤال ده تقالي شنو؟
في difference between federalism and decentralization.
Okay.
Not because we have 32 states. People are saying this is not the devolution of power. Is it true? Are we federalized under these 28 states or 32? Okay.
All right, that is our first caller, Abu Jas. And still, if you are following us, you can still give us a call on 0955022550 and you'll be live on Wake Up Juba this morning. Remember, I'm Diamond Ogale Henry Lodo, your presenter, and my guest in the studio is Honorable Dr. Richard K Mulla, the Minister of Federal Affairs in the Tigono. And today we are asking so far how he has gone with his work in the ministry. Good morning, Bakhita Radio.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome. Turn down the volume of radio. Yes.
Yes, turn off. Now,
your name?
Federalism has been really a demand since 1954 from South Sudanese like Paulino Logale, Satutino Lohore, and the rest of the members in Khartoum. Now, it is the same demand that people are requesting. At least the state should be, the country should be on federalism system. But do you think that the government is willing, or it is just playing that role of Khartoum government? That you see, when these people are given federalism, they are going to do that and that. At the same time, it was rejected because Darfurian and Luba also said that when South Sudan is given federalism, they will also demand for federalism. But now, you can see that with this lack of commitment from the government, don't you think that it is just playing his ticket to show the international community that really the people are very serious? They want it at least to establish
your name?
I'm called Laura Agostino.
Laura Agostino, from where?
Qatar.
All right, from Qatar, Laura Agostino from Qatar. Later on, I will be giving time to Honorable Dr. Richard K Mulla to answer the question you raised to him this morning. And still, if you have been following us and you want to be part of this discussion, our studio line is 0955022550 and you'll be live on Wake Up Juba. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Hello.
Aywa, Sabal Kher, Kev, hi.
Yes, my name is Ambrose Deng.
Ambrose Deng, calling from where, Ambrose?
Calling from Devon.
Welcome, Ambrose.
Yes. So my question to the guest is a simple question that people have been talking about federalism. So what type of federalism are we going to use as South Sudan? Because now I have learned that my minister is facing a lot of challenges, like the government having no commitment to pay that budget. So exactly, as his commitment or the commitment of Iowa when they come, which type of federalism are we going to use in order to keep our long-awaited federalism that we have? That's all the question I want to ask.
All right, thank you. Now let me give chance to Honorable Dr. Richard K Mulla to answer your questions. Starting from Abu Jas, he was asking about first your achievement, because the time limit of agreement and the resolution of conflict in the Republic in South Sudan is almost coming to an end. Now, what achievement have you made in the ministry to be so that people remember you? It can be like a legacy. Two, also is asking about the differences between Kokora and federalism, because people misunderstand this federal system. So he wanted to know the differences between the two. And then the last is among the differences between federalism and the decentralization system. So you're welcome, and then it will be followed by the rest of the questions being asked. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much. I would say that in the last 1 year also, with all the problems that we face within the year, we have been able to develop the vision of the ministry. And the vision is very, very important in any organization. Before you start your task, you should clearly define the vision of the organization, then followed by the mission and the functions and mandate. Having done this within the given period, we have, I would say, that we have done a big job. It looks as if it is small, but it's not, because it is the vision that drives the organization. As soon as the vision is in place and the other parts are in place, it becomes very easy to drive the organization forward. Without a vision, organization cannot move forward. Organization will be lost, and most organizations get lost due to lack of vision. For me, having achieved set out the vision, which is federal, united, democratic, peaceful and prosperous South Sudan, we have done a tremendous job already within the short period. All other jobs will simply fit in and follow without much delay, and I think that should be considered as an achievement in the short period with the problems we have so far faced. Kokora is totally different from federalism. Kokora means go back to your home area, wherever you came from. You must go back to your home area. That is not federalism. Federalism is devolving powers from the national government to the lower levels of government, that is, to the states and to the counties. The powers are devolved constitutionally. They are divided according to the level of competences. What is the competence of the national government or federal government? What is the competence of the state government? And what is the competence of the local government? You know, generally, competences differ. In federalism, competences like foreign affairs, like defense, like finance, like those kind of big areas of concern of the nation for the entire country, these are competencies to be exercised by the national government, by the federal government. However, there are other competencies of regional or state nature, like development, like cultural activities, and so forth. Those go to the states. And then the lower level, where the basic services like health, education, water, and so forth, those are exercised by the local governments at the county level. So federalism tries to make a scheme of power sharing for the various levels of government, and with these powers distributed to these various levels of government, and equally with the finances adequate for these levels of government to conduct their activities at various levels of government, so that when they are taken together as a whole, then they complement one another, and the entire population is served, and the entire population is taken care of. That is federalism. And there is need to organize the relationships between these levels of government. What is the relationship between the national government and the state government, and between the state and the local governments? How do they coordinate their activities, their functions, vertically and horizontally? That is what federalism did. Federalism does not say go back to your home area. No. Kokora says go to your home area, but federalism doesn't. So you can work anywhere in the country if you have the skills. You can serve in any state if the state feels that you have the competence to deliver them the required services. So
the third question Abujas is asking now, because you do talk about this federalism, and then he was asking about the decentralized system we have at the moment, where we also have so many states, so many counties, and probably it might be so many Payams and Bomas. So how do you link the two with federalism?
Yes, I'm coming to that. Yes. The difference between federalism and decentralization. You know, decentralization is more or less like a delegation of power. powers. The national government delegates its powers to the lower levels of government. And, with the delegated powers, they can be anytime withdrawn. You see, the central government can easily withdraw its powers from the local or the state governments. And the central government can easily interfere or intervene in matters of the state or matters of local government. It is tightly, decentralization is a system whereby the central government has tight control over the lower levels of government. Whereas in federalism, the lower levels of government enjoy substantial degree of autonomy, whereby the central or the federal government does not interfere. The federal government can only interfere by amending the constitution. And when it comes to amending the constitution, even the consent of the lower levels of government is sought. If they don't want any amendment to be conducted, it will not be conducted. The central government or federal government cannot on its own make any amendments or interfere in affairs of lower levels of government. In other words, the lower levels of government are not subordinate to the national level. They are coordinate. And they function by way of mutual cooperation and consent. That is how it works. So the lower levels of government will be more in position to enjoy their powers, to exercise their powers, to hold the lower levels of government accountable directly to them, because they are the ones that elected the lower levels of government. With the decentralization, anytime can the national government, the president can intervene, can make changes, dismiss, appoint, and that is decentralization. Actually, decentralization, some people argue, is not different from a unitary government, because at any time things can be changed.
Yes, you have a question from Loro Agostino from Qatar, and he's talking about the will from the government or the commitment from the government to implement this, because for him he says there is lack of commitment towards this. What is your inputs in this?
Well, first of all, there is the problem of finances, which the government is generally facing. Even if the government were willing to support the program federalism in the country, it would still be caught by its own inability to raise the necessary funds. That is a major problem, lack of funding. But also, we should know that federalism in South Sudan is coming from a background of suspicion, and one of suspicions is the one of Kokora, which we've just talked about. If people feel that federalism is going to lead us to Kokora, then you will see the kind of resistance it can receive from any quarters, not necessarily the government. It may also include members in the government, because they are not so sure that this is going to happen the way it is intended. It may be taken as Kokora, this kind of suspicion. But at the same time, you should know that power sharing is not an easy thing. Nobody wants to share the power to another one. So why do you think the national government will be willing to shed more powers to the states and to the local governments? Why should it be so willing to give more money to the states when it also feels that it should use the same powers and use the same...
So in short, if we can summarize it, you want to say that there is no will of implementing this federal system of governance?
No, I'm not saying that there is no will. I'm saying that it's something that has to be done carefully, slowly. You have to. It's not so easy. It's not so easy to do it the way people want it. But in other countries, it has happened as well. His question
is very straightforward. Is there commitment towards this, or still there is lack of commitment from the government?
I think there is a lack of full commitment. I would say full commitment.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have a question from Ambrose Deng from Jebel. Ambrose is asking about what type of federal system he's going to suit as South Sudanese.
The agreement is very clear. The agreement says that our type of federalism should have South Sudanese character. It must be South Sudanese. And when it is to be South Sudanese, then of course through our consultations, through our deliberations and so forth and the research, we will be able, as the people of South Sudan, to come up with a model that is suitable for the people of South Sudan. No country has a model that is not for itself. There are all the federal countries that we know of in the world, 47 federal countries, have their different characteristics in their own ways. So when we become fully federal, definitely we will borrow from other countries, but at the same time, there must be some elements which are typically South Sudanese, and those are the type of models that we are going to adopt. And I believe it will be much more of a cooperative nature, cooperative system of federalism that we will most likely adopt.